everyone. So today I am here for giving a presentation on the topic determiners. So let's start with its definition. A determiner is a word that comes before a noun to introduce it or provide information about its quantity, position, or specific. So it's a word that tells us more about noun, that gives tells us about its quantity, position, and they always come first in the noun phrase. They help us to understand about which noun we are talking about. So let's deal with some examples. The boy is playing. My book is on the table. Some apples are fresh, and these flowers are beautiful. So in the first sentence, uh, the boy is playing. The is here. The determiner. My book is on the table. Here, my is the determiner, and some apples are fresh. Here, some is the determiner, and these flowers are fresh. Here, these is the determiner. Why we need determiner? What are its importance? First is clarity. They make sentences clear and easy to understand. Precision. They help us to be precise about which noun we mean. Grammar rules. They are important in English. As they give us more information about nouns. They are essential part of correct English grammar. Now we can talk about the different types of determiners. First is articles. Second is demonstratives. Third are possessives. Fourth is quantifiers. And fifth are interrogatives. Now, summary of what we read. The appear before noun, determinants appear before noun, make noun more specific, and help create clear sentences. Determinants are small but might words that play a big role in making our sentence clear and precise.
That gives us the more information about the noun. So it really introduces the noun and also clarifying words. For example, there were some students in class. Here, words are used as a determiner and it gives more information about noun that is students. But now it is like this. Another area, more like students, articles, like and better words, non like use their tools. Third one is unfair, like some few. And fourth one is knowledge. Like why are these and
Good morning, everyone. I'm here for a speech on the using of A and tan. These are the two indefinite determiners. So we'll just start with the introduction. Master the topic, master the history using A and tan. We next to dive first one simple rule and just confidence in your English. Two, we'll start with two golden rules. It's all about the sound. Forget spelling. Your ears are the true guide. The article you choose depends entirely on the sound the next word begins with. A. Consonant sound. A dog, for example, a dog, a banana, a cat. And it will go with vowel sound. For example, an apple, an orange, an egg. So this is spotted pattern. The vocabulary. Words can be seductive. Don't be fooled by spelling. Listen to the sound. Always listen to your sound. Listen to the sound of the word. With examples and or the edges silent here. So it will just create a vowel sound and we'll go with and there. A house, the edge pronounced. So it will go with a consonant sound. The universal key, singular, countable nouns. Articles act as a spotlight. They point to one single item. Use them when introducing something for the first time. First mention, not for first mention. I saw a cat in the garden. Not for plural. You cannot say an apple. Use some instead. Some apples. Not for uncountables. You cannot say and water. Water is uncountable. Consonant sounds. Test yourself. These words start with a vowel letter, but do not start with a vowel sound. Choose a. For example, a universal. The sounds like you, these are the consonant sounds. A European trip sounds like your, it's also a consonant sound. A uniform sounds also like you, a consonant sound once again. The silent letter grade. Silent letters create vowel sounds from consonant letters. Unmask them. An honest mistake. The H is silent. It begins with an O sound. An MP3 player. The letter M is pronounced M. Vowel. It's a vowel sound. An umbrella starts with a clear vowel sound. The big exceptions when spelling lines. And here, the H is invisible to the ear, pure vowel sound here. A unicorn begins with U, a consonant sound despite the U. A one-way street, one sounds like one, so it's also a consonant sound. Interactive rapid fire. You will decide. 5 seconds per item. Trust your ears, not your eyes. An elephant, vowel sound. Take some, okay, let's skip it. Sorry. Common pitfalls where the learners double. The double article trap. Never say an apple. Pick one article only. Many get fooled by this. So you should choose wisely. The uncountable nouns and water is incorrect. Water, advice, and information needs no article. The immediate sound rule. The article follows the very next word sound, not the noun itself. You are now an article pro. Trust your ears. Sound always beats spelling. Listen first, decide second. Apply today. Use this rule in every conversation to build natural confidence. Every single time, go forth and use a and or an correctly. Always. Remember, some things to remember, and or a university, an honest mistake. You got this.
Today I am going to do a presentation on use of N and N. N and N are inclusive articles. There are words that are used for singular countable nouns. When we talk about something that is not specific, uses of S before words that begin with constant sounds, a book, a teacher, a light. To refer one person or animal, place or thing, I saw a bird in the ground. To describe a profession or job, she is doctor, he is a colleague. Use of an before word that begins with a vowel sound, an apple, an elephant. Before words with silent H, an hour, an honest man. To refer one person, animal, place, or thing. She ate an orange. When mentioning something for first time, I found an old coin.
Greetings everyone. Today I stand before you to give a presentation on the topic determinants. More specifically, definite articles use of them. Determinants. A determinant is a word that introduces a noun and helps identify specific or unique determinants. In other words, a determinant tells the listener or the reader which thing, whose thing, how many things, or how much of something the noun refers to. For example, the book or refers to a specific book. My book identifies the owner. 3 books tells how many books. So a determinant's job is not to only describe the noun but to establish its reference, to show exactly which noun we are talking about. Definite articles. A definite article is a word which is used before a noun. The speaker and the listener both know exactly which specific person, thing, or idea is being referred to. For example, the sun is shining. There is only one sun we are talking about. Please close the door. The speaker and the listener knows which door is being referred to. I read the book you recommended. A specific book is being referred. Uses of the when we refer to this thing we already mentioned is also a use of the. I saw a dog. The dog was very friendly. Number 2, when both speakers and the listener know what is meant. Example, please close the door and turn off the lights. 3, with unique things, for example, the sun, the moon, the earth. Number 4, with superlatives. For example, he is the dog, he is the tallest, he is the best, he is the best, for example, he is the smallest, he is the best. These are some superlatives which the article can use. Number 5, the ordinal numbers. The first chapter is easy. She came the second day. First, second, third days, these are ordinal numbers and you can use the article with these. Number 6, with rivers, oceans and deserts, mountain ranges, islands, kingdom, countries and republic states. For example, the Nile, the Pacific Ocean and the Arabic Sea, the Alps, the United Kingdom, the US, the United States of America, the Republic of Ireland. Now, 7 musical instruments, for example, the piano, the violin, the guitar, and the last, with any region or direction, the east, the south. I hope you find it.
I intend to present the topic uses of the. So the is the only definite article in English because and is a definite article. It is used for specific known or unique nouns. It goes with singular, plural, countable and uncountable nouns alike. It is the same for all these types of nouns. Superlatives and ordinals. Highest rankings and numbers like the best, the first, we use the to start to explain say this. Whole categories. The kangaroo lives in Australia. We use the kangaroo. We refer this refers to the whole category of kangaroos, all those who live in Australia. Grouping populations of families. The elderly, the Smiths. We are talking about a whole family, a specific family. The elderly, all the elderly people. Specificity and unique nouns. Prior mention. When we mention a noun before in a sentence and then in another sentence, we use that to talk about the same. Shared context. Both speaker and listener know the exact item. Each has a door. The speaker knows which door he is talking about, and the listener also knows which door the speaker is talking about. Cosmic uniqueness. It is also used to write the things which are unique in the world, like the sun, the moon, the sky. These are only one, these are singular and very unique. Water and mountains. Oceans, rivers, deserts and mountain range. We use the to
specific countries, names with kingdoms, economic states, or struggles, like the UK and the Netherlands. Media and instruments, famous structures, newspapers, and musical instruments, like the Aikawa, the piano, the guitar, etc.
Interrogative terminals are the words that are written before the noun So there are basically three types of interrogative terminals. First one is what, which, and which. What is used? Interrogative terminals are which is used when options are limited or already known to both the speaker and listener. It implies a choice must be made from a defined set. So, which book do you like the most? Here, the choice is limited, and we use which form of this interrogative. The power what now the second type is what. Now we use what when options are broad and unknown or unlimited. It divides an open-ended response with no predefined set to choose from. What food do you like? Here we use food and we use what before the food is noun and there are infinite choices here. And third one is whose is used with the possession or ownership of a noun. It's the interrogative form of a possessive pronouns like my, your, and theirs. So, interrogative determinants must be always set immediately before the noun as a modifier. The placement is non-negotiable in standard English. Interrogative determinants are not conformed questions what and which can also add dramatic emphasis to exclamatory statements while retaining their role as determinants. So the same interrogative determinant works in both direct questions and indirect questions. The grammar remains consistent. Indirect question: I need to go. Which is the topic you want? Here, the question is embedded with the statement no question mark is needed here. Identify the determinants. How we can identify the test your understanding. Which interrogative determinant completes each sentence? Dialects on give you this gift. Here, which users selected from and meals. Dialect meal are you cooking? We use what here because there's open their options there. Dialect laptop is on the desk. Laptop is there. Asking about the ownership, whose laptop is this, so we use whose here. You know
Interrogative terminal are words that come before nouns to ask questions. There are three main types of interrogative terminal: what, which, and which. They help us ask about information, choices, and questions. First, we talk about what. We use what when we ask about something without limiting the number of possible answers. For example, what color do you like? Next is which. We use which when we choose from a limited number of options. For example, which dress will you wear? Next is who. We use who to ask about ownership or possession. Example, whose parents. They are important because they make our sentences clear and help us to get specific information. Today I am here to give a presentation on interrogative determinants. Interrogative determinants are words that come before nouns to ask questions. There are three main types of interrogative determinants: what, which, and whose. They help us to ask. They help us ask about information, choice, and ownership. First, what. We use what when we ask about something without limiting the no possible answers. For example, what color do you like? Second, we have whose. It's used to ask about ownership or possession. Example, whose book is this? Third, we have which. It's used
nouns which we can count. For example, few students. Then quantifiers for uncountable nouns. These are the words. Uncountable nouns. These are the words which are used for the nouns which we cannot count. For example, some salt, some
Give the presentation on the topic quantifiers. Quantifiers are the words used that tell us how much or how many or where is. They are used before the noun. Some common quantifiers are these are some types of common quantifiers which are used before the noun. Example: many students are present. Some students there. All boys are present. There are many types of quantifiers like quantifiers for countable nouns, quantifiers for uncountable nouns, and quantifiers for both countable and uncountable nouns. I'm going to present our topic on
You say one use, you say another. Anybody saying? We are ready.
Article is the it is used before a noun when the speaker or a writer refers to a specific person, place, thing or idea that is already known or can be clearly identified. For example, the earth revolves around the sun. Here both the earth and the sun are used nouns.
You say second use.
Used before specific noun. Example: the book on page 9. Used when something is already known or mentioned. Example: I saw a dog, the dog was barking. Used before living things. Example: the sunlight is in the east.
Third. Next.
It's often used in superlatives. For example, he is a tallest girl. With unique things, for example, the ocean, and used with certain adjectives to give a meaning. For example, the rich boy. It can be pronounced as G or the to make a conversation or speech flow more smoothly. The pronunciation depends entirely on the sound of the word that follows it, especially whether it starts with a constant sound or a vowel. Use the with a constant sound and the with a vowel. It will make sentences clear and meaningful while the help of talk about specific or operating working on.
Example.
She is the Himalaya.
These are all.
Everyone, I'm Ritika and today I'll be discussing demonstratives. So, demonstratives. Demonstratives are the verbal equivalent to pointing. Like as we have seen, we use our fingers, we use our hands to specify a particular object. In the same way, like without using our gestures or without using our hands, we use demonstratives to like specify a particular thing, like they are the verbal equivalent of pointing. And they are specific, they are basically particular words which are used to identify or single out particular people, objects, ideas in relation to the speaker, as I already said. Like the demonstratives are specific words which are used to specify or single out some particular objects, things with relation to one who is like, specifying the very object like the speaker. And there are four main demonstratives. This, that, these, two. This, that, these, those are the very demonstratives used in the very like the whole English literature. And basically, like the thing is, we use let's categorize like all the four demonstratives. This and that like factors determine the very usage of these demonstratives, which is distance and quantity. Like distance in the sense near or far. This and these are the very, we use this and these to determine, to specify, to single out the objects which are closer to us, and these and those and that we use the rest two for the ones we want to specify. We single out them for the ones we if we have to specify a part of the object. And then this. Let's talk about the choice of the demonstrative. It depends on the other. I already said distance and quantity. To break down the four demonstratives by number, this and that, we are simplified. Like if we talk about these and those, they are plural, and we use this for a single object close to us, and we use these for many objects which is close to us. And conversely, if we use we use that for a single item which is far away, which is located farther away from us, and we use those for multiple items at a distance. And the demonstrators, they have a lot of functions, but they can function in two main ways: as a subject and as an object. And they can be classified into two categories. I'm sorry, I said three categories. They can be classified into two categories: like demonstrative pronouns and demonstrative adjectives or determinants. So there are two main demonstrative pronouns and demonstrative adjectives or determiners. Like the classification of demonstratives into pronouns, adjectives, is based on entirely on the grammatical structure and the very, the core structure of the structural placement within a sentence. Like as I already said, they can be used as a subject and as an object. And essentially, we change the category depending on whether they stand alone in a sentence, like demonstrative pronouns, or they stand with a kind of noun or verb, like demonstrative adjective. And let's talk about the first type of demonstrative, demonstrative determinants. It is demonstrative pronouns. Demonstrative pronouns can basically be replaced, as we already know that pronoun is a part of speech which replaces a noun to avoid the repetition. And then in the same way, demonstrative pronouns replace nouns entirely in a sentence, and they can stand alone in a sentence without the noun before it or after it, as they are used when the identity of the person or object is already clear from the context. And this, that, these, those are the very demonstrative pronouns we use. See, now we have a kind of ways to spot, to find the very, the demonstrative pronouns, like how to spot them. But first of all, we have to look for the four demonstrative pronouns, this, that, these, and those, and they be immediately followed by a verb or standing by itself at the end of a phrase. There are two ways to spot a demonstrative pronoun in a sentence. First of all, we have to find this, that, these, those. We have to find the very, demonstrative pronoun in a sentence, and then if it is followed by a verb, or if it's standing alone in a sentence without being followed by a verb, then we call it as demonstrative pronouns. Like example 1, this is my favorite book, and this is my favorite book. So this is head demonstrative pronoun because it is immediately followed by the verb is, and it acts as a subject here. So this is the very demonstrative pronoun here. And then example 2 is I really want those, like whatever it is, I really want those. Those is basically acts as the object, and it is starting alone at the end of a phrase. I hope it's there. And then demonstrative adjectives. Demonstrative adjectives, they modify a noun by pointing out exactly which specific person, place. Like we already know about adjectives. Adjectives are a part of speech which modify a noun, by pointing out exactly which specific person, place, thing is being discussed. They can never stand alone and must always be placed directly before the noun. Unlike demonstrative pronouns, they can never stand alone in a sentence. They will have to be it's really necessary that they should be followed by a verb or like any other or a place before a noun. And then this, that, these, those are demonstrative pronouns as well, and demonstrative very structural thing. They are similar demonstrative adjectives and demonstrative nouns, but the only difference is like where they are kept like the location in the sentence, and if they are followed by, and the difference is that demonstrative pronouns we can they stand alone in a sentence, while demonstrative adjectives cannot stand alone in a sentence. And then how it's sorted. Look for this, that, these, or those followed immediately by a noun, like unlike demonstrative pronouns which don't require a verb to be followed after them. See, for example, we have to find, like if we have got a sentence, then we look for this, that, these, those, and if the very demonstrative adjective is followed by the very noun, then we will like immediately hear the very the word as demonstrative adjective. And then example is this coffee is way too hot. This is basically demonstrative adjective because this is immediately followed by coffee, which is a noun, and it modifies coffee. And example 2, can you hand me that wrench? That is here used as demonstrative adjectives, and wrench that because it modifies a wrench, and it's immediately followed by very demonstrative adjective. Thank you so much. Good morning to each of you. So now, as we've already discussed lots of types of determinants, and we've already learned about their types. Now, the next type of determinant that we are going to discuss is distributive determinants. So, talking about the definition, distributive determinants are two types of determinants that basically refer to things or people as individuals, as separate individuals, rather than a group. As quantifiers have been already discussed, we learned that quantifiers refer to people or things as collective groups. But when we have to specify members as individuals from those collective groups, we use distributive determinants. Now, the four fundamental distributive determinants that we usually learn about are each, every, either, and neither. Now, starting with each is that type of determiner which refers to the members of the groups of a group separately. It is used for two or more things, and it is immediately followed by a single noun and a singular verb. Actually, all distributives are followed by singular nouns and singular verbs. Now, talking about each, it refers to the members of the group separately. For instance, we have here each student got a notebook. Each student has a notebook. Now, here student is the noun, and we use the distribute each refer to the student as a part of a group, and it is followed by has, which is a singular verb. Now, then we have another distributive, which is every. Now, every and each are somewhat similar, so we must get confused by using them in our sentences as determiners. Now, talking about every, it is used with three or more people or things, and it refers to the members. It refers to all members of the group, but it considers them one by one. And by that, I mean if we have a specific category or a specific group, like we have students, it contains all the people that go to school. We refer to them as students. Now, when we use every with students, it refers to the students, it refers to all members of this specific category, but it also considers them one by one, which keeps that individuality by a factor there. So, for instance, we can say that every student received a certificate. Here, we consider the specific category, the specific group of students, but we also, highlight the individual factor, keeping every student, considering every student one by one. Now, the next, so here we can read about the difference between each and every. So now, there's not a major difference, they are somewhat similar, but the major differences are each focuses on the individual separately, but while every focuses on all members collectively, but it also considers them one by one. Now, the next distributor that we have is either. So, either when we have two choices, then we use the distributive either. That is when we use the either. And when we have to choose one or the other of any two choices or any two options, either is being used. For instance, you can choose either pen. The next type of distributor that we have is neither, and when there are two choices, neither is used, and not one or the other of any two persons or any two things are being made, so that is why neither is used. I hope you understood.
Assalamualaikum everybody. So here with the presentation of possessives of a grammar topic. So here we go. So first of all, what are possessives? In English grammar, possessives are words or forms that show ownership, possession, relationship and association. They answer the questions such as whose book is this, to whom does the subject belong, what relationship exists between two people, things. Examples include this is Lee's book, the dog wagged its tail, the blue cycle is mine. So a proper definition is a possessive is a grammatical form used to indicate ownership, belonging, relationship or association between people, animals, place or things. So after that, why possessives are important? Possessives are important to show ownership clearly, avoid unnecessary repetition, improve sentence structure, communicate relationship effectively, and write and speak natural. Here are some examples with possessives and without possessives. The sentence with possessive is the dog, without possessive is the bag belongs to Sarah, and the sentence with possessives include it is Sarah's bag. So the second one seems more natural and clear. After that, the types of possessives are possessive pronoun and possessive noun and possessive pronoun. So pronouns that replace nouns and show ownership, both form helps us identify who owns or is connected to someone. After that, possessive noun. Possessive noun is a noun that shows relationship, possession. Usually we form possessive nouns by adding apostrophe s. Examples include Lee's book, the teacher's desk, the girl's bicycle, the wine is there. Understanding the idea, each example, the noun owns it and is connected to something else. After that, the singular possessive noun. A singular noun shows possession by adding apostrophe s. Formula is singular noun and apostrophe s. The boy's bag, the teacher's pen, the student's notebook, and the cat's tail. The sentences include the boy's bag is on the table, the teacher's pen is missing, etc. Now, after that, plural possessive noun. When a plural noun already ends in s and add only an apostrophe there. The formula includes plural noun and apostrophe mark. Examples are students' classroom, teachers' lawn, players' uniform, girls' hostel. Now the sentences here are the students' classroom is decorated, the teachers' lawn is on the first floor, players' uniform is RAD. Now after that, irregular plural possessive nouns. Some plural nouns do not end in s. For example, examples include children's notebook, children's book, men's shoes, women's clothes, etc. Now there are some sentences on it. The children's book are colorful, the men's team was the men, etc. Now after that, possessive nouns showing relationship. Possession is not only ownership. Possession can also show relationship, connection, or association. Examples are my father's advice, the school's principal, India's culture, and the company's policies. Now, these examples show a relationship rather than physical ownership. After that, possessive pronoun. The possessive pronoun replaces a noun and shows ownership. Unlike possessive nouns, possessive pronouns do not bear apostrophes. Now, here are some common pronouns: mine, yours, his, hers, ours, theirs, its. Examples include the book is mine, the pen is yours, and the victory is theirs. Now, after that, understanding pronouns, possessive adjectives. Possessive adjectives describe ownership and are placed before a noun. Some examples include my notebook, your pencil, this jacket, the umbrella, our project, their project. Sentences include my notebook is on the desk, our school organized many competitions, their project won the prize. Now, after that, possessive adjective versus the possessive pronoun. Understanding the difference in possessive adjectives, they come before a noun. Examples: my book, your bag, her bicycle, their house. In possessive pronouns, they stand alone. The book is mine, the bag is yours, and the bicycle is yours. The house is theirs. The room is possessive adjectives noun after them, and possessive pronouns do. Now, after that common possessive form, singular possession, the student's assignment, the doctor's clinic, and the bird's nest. Plural possession, student's assignment, doctor's clinic, and the bird's nest. The placement of apostrophe can change the meaning. Now, special cases in the possessives. Here, the joint ownership and the separate ownership. When people share something, add the apostrophe only to the second noun. Examples include Alina and Ahmed's project, meaning both the students share the same project. While on the other hand, the separate ownership, when each person owns something separately. Both nouns take possessive forms. Examples include Alina and Ahmed's project. Each student has a different project. Thank you. It was all.
I am here with the topic quantifiers. Quantifiers are basically the words that tell us how much. Quantifiers are words that tell us how much or how many of something there is. Quantifiers are used before nouns to express quantity without always giving an exact number. They are important because they make our communication clearer and more precise. Quantifiers are used with generally two types of nouns. The countable nouns and uncountable nouns. Countable nouns are basically those which can be counted individually, while uncountable nouns are those which cannot be counted individually. Different quantifiers are used with these different types of nouns. For example,
So say write all quantifiers. Write all quantifiers.
quantifiers are few, many, little, much, some, etc.
I am here to deliver a presentation regarding quantifiers. So first of all, what are quantifiers? These are words or phrases before a noun to show quantity or amount, like the doggy. Like some students there.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Today we are presenting the use of the article. So the article is used before noun to make the meaning specific and particular. So what is the? So the is used before a noun when the noun is specific to the already moved to the listener or reader. We use the before the names of newspapers and books. Example, I read the Times every morning. Have you read the Times? So now is the summary. We use the noun is unique.
Suppose you are teachers. You are teachers. No, you are- Yes.
So
You have to teach us like.